We are live. Welcome to Kickback with Kourtney. This is a live, casual conversation that's dedicated to encouraging women to take care of themselves as much as we take care of everyone else. Kickback with Kourtney is hosted here on my channel every Sunday at 2 p.m. So you're not going to miss it. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of the conversations going forward in the future, because you don't want to miss it. Hey, you guys. Hello. Today, I just want to thank everyone for kicking it with me. If you are watching the playback, your view is just as appreciated and important too. I want you guys to go ahead and let me know where you are joining from. Where are you joining from today? Let us know in the comments. You can say the city and the state, or however, whatever you're most comfortable with sharing. And you can also drop your name. Let us know who you are. Okay. And also, I want to note that if you are watching the playback, please comment #playback so that I know where that you're actually viewing it that way. And also comment and let me know where you are watching from, because you are just as important. Just as important. So I'm going to make sure that you can see me. That it looks clear. Okay, looks good. Okay. And we just need to quickly let everyone know that we are live. And we are starting soon. Okay. I just like to jump right into this. But in the event, okay, so last week we kicked off Women's Month talking about all of the hats that we wear. We talked about the different roles that we play and how we as women, we show up and we show out, we kill the different various roles that we play within our families, within our workplaces and communities. And every role that they give us, we kick ass. We do it. We kill it. Okay. And so we celebrated the fact that we're resourceful as women. We celebrated the fact that we can do multiple things and we can do multiple things well. But then we also acknowledged and recognized that we have limits. So last week was good. Last week was good. If you missed it, the playback is available on the channel. You can check it out. But this week, I wanted to continue the conversation about women's, pertaining to Women's Month, but I wanted to focus more about Black women. That's why the topic is community over competition. I wanted us to kind of get together and discuss ways that we can become more of a community, discuss ways that we can be more uplifting, and kind of knock out this competitive nature that happens to so many of us. Many of us have been victims of like this fake, I don't know, like this faux, that's what I had said before, this faux competition that takes place that we're not even aware that people are competing with us. We literally show up to a space, whether it's in church or at work, or you join a group online, or you join a book club, and you literally show up. And when you show up, you can immediately feel this tension in the room. You can feel like I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not sure why it's the way that it is. But you just feel that tension, and you just know that, I don't know. For me anyway, most of the time I just kind of like fall back, but it's just prevalent and it's there. And it's not only just in our workplaces. We also experience these things within our families. So I want you to first start off there. Share with us in the comments, briefly explain, if you can put it to words, what was your first experience with that like competitiveness that you kind of felt or sensed when you were like surrounded with a Black woman or working with a Black woman? What was that first experience, if you can explain it into words? If you can briefly like share us in the chat. Hey y'all, hey. What was that first experience like? I can't with you. Yeah. I have three sisters, so there you go. So it's okay, and it's crazy that you said that because I was actually going to say that my first experience was with family too. But even in that, did you see that like in your other family members, like other parts of your family? Because I really want to get there. A lot of people talk about, like the cattiness that they experience in the workplace, like Black women in work, like, you know, you see it more so prevalent there in that space. But I'm with Grant. My first experience was within my own family. Like I literally observed like my aunts and my cousins like trying to like outdo one another. And I never understood why they were trying to outdo each other. Like I didn't quite grasp like what they got out of that, that type of behavior, that type of interaction. So I do, as someone actually said in my questions when I asked and polled my audience, she said that she felt that a lot of the hatred was due to intergenerational, like colorism. She also mentioned how she felt that it's kind of like passed down, like generation to generation. And I'm with her. I agree. I feel that in my situation that it was just something that was kind of like passed down. Like you, and what I mean by that is if you witnessed your mom kind of like being shady in that type of way and kind of like trying to compete or kind of like putting down other people in the family because of their, or whatever, because of their success or downplaying people's success. If you witnessed your parents do that, I feel that more than likely made you kind of like a hater kid. Kanye West says that in a song. And I know how you might feel about Kanye West, but he said, like hater moms get married hater dads and they end up having hater kids. So I don't know. I think that comes, in that kind of way. So no, because I was the boy of the house and they competed for boys and the parents' attention. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I can see that. I can see that. Competing for it started there because y'all are competing for your parents' affection. Got it. That makes sense. And then too, like if you're the sister that's sought out, like I wouldn't want to be in that house. If you're the sister that people are checking for, but nobody's checking for the other sisters, I wouldn't want to be that sister. I wouldn't want that attention. Attention is a drug. And I think we see that every day with social media. We see how like people are doing any and everything for clicks. So attention is definitely a drug. And I think that kind of goes to it too. Like I know like in the workplace, people are trying to vie for attention. Like I want the promotion. I want to be promoted. I want to be seen as successful. And I think that we have that mindset, which another person spoke up to, like the scarcity mindset, where we think that, oh, it's only one spot. Like for the longest, I don't know if I'm showing my age, but when people say stuff like the token Black girl, or because people used to say that about me all the time, like you're the token Black girl, like you're the one Black girl that hangs out with these white people, like nobody can get that spot, like you have that spot. And so I think in the workplace, sometimes we can kind of think that, oh, there's only going to be one Black person that's going to be promoted. And since that is only one spot, like it's got to be me. And so we become catty and, competitive in that nature. But yeah, if we are moving for one spot and moving from that idea of that scarcity mindset, I think that we can start to move and kind of graduate from that type of thinking. So with that being said, where can we begin to change this narrative? Where can we begin to change the narrative that you can't work with Black women? You can't do anything with Black women. You can't be in any type of organization, any type of community with Black women who have genuine motives. We're going to be supportive of one another. How can we move past that narrative? Because I feel like it kind of, I know in my thing, like when you're an adult, you're trying to get friends, it can kind of like limit you and kind of prevent you from like reaching out and making connections with other Black women because of the fear, if you've had that experience like I have, that it's going to be a competition. Like it's always got to be a competition. And so you don't create those connections that you can because of that fear. So how can we start to move past that? Where can we begin to change the narrative? And that's my question. I'm sorry I didn't post the other question in the chat. I apologize. But it's kind of hard to be the moderator and have a conversation at the same time. So, where can we begin to change the narrative? There's a narrative that you can't work with Black women. You can't do anything with Black women. How can we start to change that? Let it be known from the beginning that I'm not your competition. I've literally said that to women, and I've had seen like their shoulders relax. Like you can kind of like, you're saying that you've like visibly seen them kind of be like, okay. And that's how I feel. If I was to take a job with you, Grant, and you were to like let me know up front, like I am not your competition, like we not competing against each other, I feel like I would be the one that would take like a deep sigh, like, oh, like yes, like it's just a relief to be in a type of environment or to be in a space where you feel like you feel as if you don't have to have your defenses up when it comes to women. Like it's very difficult, right? And so I'm piggybacking off of what you're saying. Since there's limited responses, I want to go ahead and say that, it starts with me. I feel that the first thing, I'm sorry, I'm late. Oh, you're fine. Environment plays a part. Like being brought up in a small town where there may not be many Black women, are going to a school that's predominantly, and then, okay. So being a part of a small town, I can agree, because I'm also from a small town. You don't see that many Black people in certain spaces. And so I think that kind of goes into that scarcity mindset where you think that the spaces are limited. And so like you see that kind of competition there. And then I try to be supportive of Black women. That's good. And we need more of that. I let my women colleagues know that we are a team and we can bounce ideas off one another. There is no competition. Yes, I think that's probably what we're going to have to do. I think when we see another Black woman come into a space, I think that we need to start letting her know, how we have that way of like communicating with each other without communicating. But I think we just need to let each other know, like, we are on the same team. We are going to work together to make this work, to, smooth this over. And I don't want your man. I do not want your man. Let me just put that out there. You are crazy. You are crazy, Grant. I don't want your man. There's no need to even be threatened, right? Maybe we need to walk around with these disclaimers like up top, like, I don't want your man. I don't want your job. I don't want to do what I don't want your situation. Somebody said that and it became like a meme and like a t-shirt. Like, I don't even want your situation or something like that. I remember that. But yes, I think that we need to start letting everyone know, like acknowledging it and saying it up front. And I think that we also need to first, on a personal level, opt out of this competitive, this competition. Like we need to opt out. And I think that we do that by understanding that there are multiple spots. There are multiple tables with multiple seats. The resources are infinite. Again, I go back to the scarcity mindset that the girl said on the comment. Like, it comes from, I think the competition truly comes from the mindset that there's only one spot. Like, and if you get it, then I can't get it. And if you get on, then I can't get on. And if you're an influencer and you're doing that, I can't do that. And if you're running that type of business, I can't run that type of business. But there's enough for all of us. There's room for all of us. I think we often forget who we belong to and who we serve. We belong to God, and He owns 1,000 cattle, or whatever the word says. Y'all know I don't want to misquote the Bible. We ain't gonna do that. But He owns all of the cattle on the hillside. And so we have to get out of that mindset where it's you against me. Like, oh, like we got to get out of there. And she said, working on our body language, because a lot of time people will say that they're open to collaborating or working together, but their body language says different. Well, I'm definitely going with the body language, because if I approach you and you're saying with your mouth that, oh, we're going to work together, we're the only Black people here or whatever, like us Black women, we need to stick together, but your body language is like this, and yeah, we need to work. It's called discernment. You definitely got to discern who is for you, and nah, like, but I can say that we got to trust that what's for you is for you. Exactly. Going back to who we belong to, God is the ultimate, he's the ultimate source. And so resources are not limited, even though that they portray that to us that it is. And I think that's what makes us competitive. We have to fully embrace that there are multiple spots, multiple seats, and that we all can do it. The thing about it is you're going to do it differently from me, and so I think that we have to get there. So my next question is, moving from that competitive nature, which is what I really wanted to focus on, how can we be more uplifting? How can we be more supportive? And I think Grant started that conversation when she said, like, putting the disclaimer out there, letting the Black girl know when she joins the group or when she joins, comes to your job, letting her know up front, like, we are going to work together. Like, there is no competition. I'm not competing with you. How can we be more uplifting and supportive of one another? How can we assist each other with that? Right. And the reason why I want to touch on this is because, like, we're all different and we all have different needs. And so support may look different to you than it does to me. Like, support to me might be, child, like, join my live. If I post the link, I want you to come join my live, be a part of the conversation. I feel supported. I feel seen. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, but to you, it may be just somebody saying, sis, I see you. Like, I see you doing your thing. I see you working over there. Whether, whatever the situation may, I see that you got this going on. Like, I just want to commend you. Keep going, keep going, sis. I just want you to know that I see you. It could be different things. It doesn't necessarily always have to be like monetary, What kind of support do you need? Start a conversation with her, especially if she's new. Yes. Take the initiative. I like that, Grant. Take the initiative and start the conversation. Let people know that they are welcome. I don't know. Black women, we tend to be defensive. And I get it. I get it. We've been through a lot. We've experienced a lot. We've had, things that have made us like tougher skin. But we can let the guard down sometimes, and let people know that, we're warm, especially for me, because if I'm gonna, I like to connect. I want to collaborate. I'm currently I was in the strategic influencer, but I'm in the group now. And it's a lot of other girls that are content creators. And I'm like, I want to collab. I want to collaborate with you. Like, I like your content. I want to hook up. But, it is sometimes like some people that are just not as welcoming, and so it's just kind of difficult. I think what would make it easier is if there was someone else on the receiving end doing like Grant saying and being like, I'm open to it. Like, yeah, like having that conversation up front. We can be more uplifting by being willing to assist one another. For example, when someone is reaching out to me about my job, I don't ignore the message. I actually respond, girl, don't be a gatekeeper. Sorry, Judah is asleep. I'm sorry. But yes, I don't understand that. If you got the job and you're doing something and you're doing well, it's actually it should be a compliment to you that I'm reaching out to you to ask you, how can I do that too? Like, I'm interested in what you're doing. How can I do that too? Like, I'm asking someone, because, you hear that often from like different motivational speakers and things. They tell you, if you see somebody doing what you want to do, that you need to talk to that person. You need to connect with that person. You need to network with that person so you can learn from them and glean from them. And not even necessarily from a way of like trying to use the person, you know what I'm saying? But just kind of like, let me know how I can get on too. And so many Black women are like just stonewalling, gatekeeping, like, nah, like just not helpful. I don't understand that. I don't. Okay, so we got here, Grant, but be authentic. Don't bring no fake foolery over here. Yes, because we are going to read through that. We are going to discern through that. Like the girl was saying about the body language. If you're saying that you want to collaborate, or you're saying that you're supportive and that, you're open to working together, and then your body language is off, like, don't be fake. Like, I mean, if you ain't, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? There are people for certain people. Like, my personality may not really vibe and mesh well with yours, but somebody over here, it may. So, you got to have discernment. And then I have zeroing in on our own selves and our own goals. And what we are focusing on does not detract from the ability to be supportive to others. If anything, it can strengthen our own gifts and talents. And girl, yes, you bring me to the major point. The enemy wants us to be divided. He wants us to be separated, but we are so much more powerful together. If we would understand that and get and embrace that we can do more together. Your gifts are not my gifts. Hold on, you guys. I'm sorry. Because my nose is, I'm going to get the tissues. All right. So your gifts are not my gifts, right? You can do something better than I can. Maybe you're good at promotion, or maybe you're more creative. And, it's just that we can kind of draw off each other's strengths. Your strength may be my weakness might be your strength. And then we can kind of get together and make it work. I love the idea of that. If anything, it can strengthen our own gifts and talents. You might be really good at video editing, and I might be really good at, like, I don't know, coming up with the idea of what to record. And then this person might be really good with, like, they may be well connected. Like, I'm gonna have a friend, Grant. She's very resourceful, right? She's well connected. She knows people in different areas, different industries. All of us can work together. We can use each gift. I love that. You read my mind. Don't be a gatekeeper. Yes. I don't know why I don't understand that. Following through on your word. Yes. Like the girl was saying, travel with me. She was saying, like, if I reach out to you and ask you a question, like, don't not respond. Like, actually respond to me and be supportive, So I just want us to be encouraged and just try to figure out. I wanted it to be, a conversation that we all can come together and kind of really figure out ways. Is it creating a community where women of like mind, women who really want to collaborate, truly want to collaborate with other Black women and see other Black women when we get together? Is it an online community? Is there like a sign on my forehead? Like, what do I need to do to establish, or what do we need to do to create this environment or this community where we all can flourish and thrive? Like, even if we're doing the same things, how can we do that? So it's hard for some to do that if they struggle to reach a certain status, and it's sad. Yeah, I can feel that. Like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Grant, when you're saying this, but from what I'm getting from what you're saying is that, like, maybe right now me and you on the same level, and I'm okay with us collaborating, and I'm okay with us working together, and we can meet up and we can do this. But then when I see that you kind of leaving me and your success, you're getting more success, you're getting more hits, or whatever the situation may be, now all of a sudden I'm struggling with whether or not I want to continue working with you because you're outdoing me. How do we combat that mentality? Like, how do we overcome that when that occurs? Because it's going to happen. We might all start this race at the same time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're on the same schedule or we have the same pace. Like, God still has individual things for us individually, like he still has his will for us individually, even if we are working collectively. So how do we combat that? Is that like something that we could do? I don't know. Or is it like we're just going to have to like check ourselves? I don't know. Are you self-aware enough to check yourself in that regard? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. That's why I wanted more heads, more people, more of us having this conversation so that we can come together, because these conversations aren't me telling y'all what I think. This is like supposed to be a meeting of the minds, like us coming together and figuring out what we can do, like what a solution could be. No, okay, so Grant corrected me. No, I'm saying that some people gatekeep because they've struggled to get theirs. Oh, and they feel like you have to struggle too. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. No, people gatekeep because they struggle to get theirs. They worked hard. It took me 10 years to get this. It took me however many years and hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. And I just feel like you would appreciate it more if you did the work yourself. I shouldn't have to help you. Like, you should do it yourself. Like, and I'm with you, Grant. I think that that's sad because it goes back to that mentality. I know that you've seen this argument several times because you know those arguments circulate. But the argument about like helping your kids out because you struggled and got it out the mud, so now you feel like your kids should struggle and get it out the mud. Like, no, like it's not supposed to be this way. Like, we are supposed to be able to help you. If I can help you do something that I've done, like I'm all for it. Like I want to help you because when I help you, I see me in you because we're both black. We're black women, and you own. You know, I mean, it's just that's what I see. I don't know if we would ever get to a place where everybody can see that way. You understand that God, you have to understand that God's timing is different for different people, and that is true because what God has for me is for me, and what He has for you is for you. But my time might be now, and your time might be 6 months later, or a year later, or vice versa. And so we just have to be in tune with what God has for us, and kind of like remind ourselves in those moments when we do feel like somebody else is being successful. But going back to Grant about the gatekeeping. And you know what? And I honestly do believe to a degree that this is true because I reached out to when I first started doing content creation and started taking it seriously. I reached out to a girl who has a significant following, like, and she's. I'm not gonna go into much details in case somebody's watching this, but she has a significant following. A lot of people probably know her, but she's Quentin's cousin. And when I tell you she left me, like she don't even open my message. She didn't even open the message that I sent her. Just asking for advice. We're not even in the same, we don't even make the same type of content. I mean, when I tell you she's huge. Like huge. But we don't even make the same type of content. Like I'm asking you a question from like, I think I reached out as from like a marketing type thing. Like, what could I do more? I don't know. Honestly, I forget. It was like years ago. And like I said, when I first started, and I was just kind of like shocked because she presented it, I guess because she's close, like she had a relationship, like her and Quentin were close, I guess, younger. She presented it in front of him like, oh, I'm willing to help on some body language stuff. Like, oh, I'm willing to help. Like, yeah, if you have any questions. And then when I actually hit her up to ask a question, she didn't even read the message. Don't share my content, like on her platform. But again, we make different content. We have different content. So of course she wouldn't share my content on her thing. But anyway, so great point, Grant. I think for the person to keep it, they still have to work hard to keep it. So you may have paved the way for me, but I still have to keep up the work for it to stay. And many don't see that. See, this is what I'm talking about when you have conversation. Great point. Because yeah, you may give me, like she's saying, you may give me the blueprint or the formula, but like she's saying, she has to continue doing the formula to make it work. Like just because you told me how to do it, or just because I gave you a recipe, you may not do it. Once I tell you the recipe, some people might be like, oh, that's too much. Oh, you did all that? Oh, I ain't doing that. That's too much. I mean, you can't gauge whether or not someone is actually going to do it. But the fact that people hoard information like that on some, you need to figure it out on your own. I feel like even if those people get ahead, and I don't know if I should feel this way, but I feel like it doesn't work out for them in the long run. I think that people who are more giving and people who are more open, I honestly believe that because they're so open, they are open to receiving more than people that hold their hands like this. Like, no, this is mine. No, you can't have it. You can't grasp anything with your hand closed like this. And if you treating people like, and you just got to be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to be mindful. So I don't know. But you guys, I really do appreciate you guys so much today. I did anticipate that there was going to be more people because I did contact like my girls and my challenge thing or whatnot, and a few of them had expressed an interest. But I don't want to keep you any longer. I do want to say thank you for the conversation. If anything, we started a conversation that maybe we can take back to our friends, our sisters, our family members, people that are a part of our own personal communities. And maybe we can start to put our heads together to figure out a way that we can change this narrative. Hello. that we can change this narrative to where, we can be more open-minded to helping each other and collaborating. I think I think y'all came down to what the basis is gatekeeping. People holding on to information thinking that if I tell you the formula, you're gonna get ahead of me, and I don't know how I'm gonna handle that you getting ahead of me or whatever. Different perspective. When you get to 100,000 subscribers, are you gonna give all the ideas for free, or the first couple for free and then start to charge a consultation fee? I don't know. I've thought about that. I don't know. I mean, like currently, I'm assisting somebody for free with their YouTube. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts in regards to that? Travel with me, since I know you have a page. So, what are your thoughts in regards to that? Like, I mean, I understand the idea of like, I think it's like when they say like a photographer is charging you because of the hours they put in, even though or some type of meme or some quote that's like, when somebody is charging you money, they're not charging you for the time it takes, because more than likely they have mastered it and they know how to do it quickly. It's just more so you're paying for their expertise, or you're paying for their expertise and their wisdom. So it's like, I don't know. Grant, please chime in on this. With you being so, multifaceted in different industries. If you have a skill that is a profitable skill and it's valuable, do you give it for free, or do you charge a price? So I'm not saying y'all gonna make me go back and read and find the message that I sent this girl, because I don't think I asked her. I don't think I asked a question that was kind of like. I don't think I asked a question that was. Actually, it wasn't even a question, really. This is the question. I sent it in January of 2023. I said, "Hey, how are you? I have a question." I said, "When you first started actively pursuing being a content creator, did you receive support from the people you expected to support? I hope that makes sense." And like I said, she left me on red, didn't check it. And it was more so about support, because I was gonna ask, like, I think maybe the follow-up question would have been something like, how do you overcome the fact that the people that you feel should be supporting you aren't supporting you, because that was an issue that I had at that time. And so it wasn't even about something that I feel that you have to gatekeep about. So I don't know. I think starting off I would help even with my job aspect, but after a certain time I would start to charge for that information, especially when I'm going hours into helping the person learn something that they can research. And then Grant said that I'm not a content creator. I ain't talking about that, Grant. But real estate, like any type of information. You worked, So she said, but I don't mind giving contact info or anything. But if it's gonna take a lot of my time, I might charge. Okay. So I think both of you travel with me as well as Grant. Y'all talking about time. Like if I'm giving you if it takes me like 10 minutes to talk to you, then yeah, that's free game. But if you coming back to me and it's like hours upon hours upon hours, and we having these conversations, then pay me type thing. I appreciate you for starting the conversation. I do this. I will sometimes help out and separate my expertise from the time. I must charge a fee for my time though, because I have 4 kids, and I don't blame you. So I think that's where we're getting at. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, if it's taking time, like if you're sending a DM and you can answer that in 10 minutes, I think that's one thing. But then if you got somebody that's like, oh, can we meet up and let's talk over coffee, or let's meet up and have a conversation, like an hour-long conversation about like why this is working, then I think that I don't even know how I would have that conversation about charging them, but I do think that you should be compensated for your time because you could be doing something else. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. So I think to a degree, yeah, I think it's a matter of, like all of you have mentioned, it's a matter of time. Like how long are we talking? And how often are we talking? Because I have a friend who's a photographer, and when I asked her in detail, like in great length, when we were going back and forth, like through Messenger, and she was telling me like what to use, what platform do you put the photos on, telling me like different things. I sent her, she didn't ask, but I sent her $50. I mean, it's not a lot, but I sent her the money because that's a lot of stuff that I could have taken the time to research that she gave me in like 30 minutes. And so I did, I reached out to her because of that. So I do believe in compensating people for their time. I believe in compensating people for their time. For example, if it took me 10 plus years for me to learn clinical research, so the first conversation is free, but if you keep coming back, a fee would need to be charged. Yeah. And I think we probably with that need to kind of like maybe put that out up front. Like I'm more than, like I am more than welcome to help you get on and like explain to you like what I do and how I started it. But if we're going to be going into detail, I do want you to know that, this is how much it's going to be. So yeah, we started the conversation. I hope that this has inspired you and encouraged you. And maybe this week, I encourage you to, if you see a Black girl doing whatever, I don't know, I don't care if she's at McDonald's, Starbucks, or whatever. If you see somebody, a Black woman doing her thing, and she's working and she's promoting or whatever she's doing, it doesn't even necessarily have to be content creation, but anything, just let her know that you see her, like encourage her, like, let her know that, you see her pretty much. And I feel that can start maybe at least a chain reaction. Maybe she'll see somebody that later on that day and she'll encourage them, or she'll say something supportive or kind and throw that in their direction. So Grant, I see y'all. So this is mine for the week. I see y'all. I can't fool with you. You ain't fit to fool with. So that's her contribution for the week, you guys. So pass it along. But I do want to thank you guys for kicking it with me today. I'm not really sure what the conversation is going to be next week, but I will have it posted on Monday. Again, thank you so much. Next week, Kickback with Kourtney at 2 p.m. on my channel, Eastern Standard Time, and subscribe so you don't miss it. So until next time, take care of you. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Have an awesome week. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. Grant is not.